we are ready to look at the relationship between what we know about area and what we've been doing with dividing fractions. I'm going to give you a couple examples and you're going to do show what you know right here in class. Area is base times height. The area of a parallelogram is base times height. The area is the number of square units it takes to cover a shape. So we're going to be able to look at these and figure out each one of these. Then we're going to look at the relationship, and then I'm going to show you some that don't have the square units blocked off. So let's get started. The area of this pink rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 square units because it takes 12 square units to fill it. The height of this rectangle is 1, 2, 3, 4, and the base is 1, 2, 3. And using our formula, if the base is 3 and the height is 4, well, the area is indeed 3 times 4, which is 12. So this one, we saw that a 3 by 4 rectangle is 12 square units. This one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 and a half, 10, 10 and a half is the area. 10 and a half is the area. Let's write that inside. And we're going to say units squared. The base is 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3 because the rectangles, the opposite sides are the same. So if this is 3, well then I would have to figure out what the height is. And again, because it's boxed in, I can do 1, 2, 3 and a half. And then to use this formula to check it, 3 times 3 and a half, 3 times 7 halves equals 21 halves, which equals 10 and 1 half, which is indeed our area. And so our question for today is, if we know what the area is, can we find the missing side? And we go back to what we know about the formula. Let's pretend we don't know that this is 3. We can't count that and see that it's 3. So let's write down what we know. We know that the formula is area equals base times height. And in this particular case, we know the area. So instead of the A, we're going to write 10 and a half. Instead of the base, we're going to write B because we don't know the base. So that's going to stay the same. And instead of the H, we're going to write 1, 2, 3 and a half because that's the height. And now we have a one-step equation that requires us to multiply. This says 3 and a half times something equals 10 and a half. And we remember from when we had whole numbers that if we're multiplying, we have to do the inverse operation. The inverse operation of multiplication is division. So we are going to divide by 3 and a half. Doing the same operation on both sides is the rule in algebra land to isolate king variable. And so now B times 3 and a half divided by 3 and a half is B. And my problem, 10 and a half divided by 3 and a half, is what I have to solve to figure out B. So we remember our division rules. This becomes 21 halves divided by 7 halves. Dividing fractions is so fun. Stay, switch, flip a second one. Three times 1 and 2 times 1, or 1 times 1, and the answer is 3. 3 is our missing. If you'll notice, I have 3 shapes here. We're going to do these 2 because this is the formula for these shapes. When we get to a triangle, we're going to review the triangle formula and then see how that changes when we have the area. So, for my first rectangle, instead of A, I'm going to do 13. Instead of B, I'm going to do 3 and 1/4. So now I have this equation, 13 equals 3 and 1/4 H. In order to isolate the variable, I use the opposite operation. The opposite of multiplication is division. This 3 1/4 times h divided by that is h. And this problem becomes the one that I have to solve. 13 divided by 3 1/4. And of course, we remember that writing it this way makes it easier to solve. So 3 1/4. 13 divided by 3 1/4 is the same as 13 divided by 13/4. Stay, switch, flip, simplify, then multiply. 4 is our missing side. 11 meters squared is the area. 5 1/2 is the base. And what is the rest of our rectangle? We're going to divide by 5 1/2 on both sides to isolate the variable. And so 11 divided by 5 1/2 is going to tell me the missing height. The missing height is 2. All right. Now let's review area of a triangle. We remember that base times height is the area of a rectangle. And in order to turn any rectangle or any parallelogram into a triangle, we simply cut it in half. And our little jingle is base times height divided by 2 is the formula for the area of a triangle. Base times height divided by 2 is the formula for the area of a triangle. However, we remember that divided by 2 is the same as 1/2 times the base in height. This one, a little funner to say. This one, a little easier to use. Instead of the A, we have 9 3/4. Instead of the base, we have 6 1/2. Or instead of the height, we have 6 1/2. It doesn't matter which of those letters we cover up because it's the commutative property and we're going to figure out the other one. So if you'll rewrite this with me, 9 3/4 equals half of 6 1/2 times B. And I just switched the order of these because I wanted to be able to have these beside each other, because what I'm going to do first is figure out what this equals so that I can see what is really attached to B. So I have to figure out half of 6 1/2. Or I have to figure out 1/2 times 6 1/2. Or 6 1/2 divided by 2. Mental math allows us to do half of 6 is 3 and half of a half is 1/4. So we're going to say 3 1/4 B equals 9 3/4. And now you look that I see the exact same problem we had when we were up here, and we're going to use division to solve it. So 9 3/4 divided by 3 1/4. Stay, switch, flip, or easy division. We don't have to flip it. 39 divided by 13 is 3, and 4 divided by 4 is 1. Our missing side is 3. All right, here are 4 for you to show what you know. These 3 are base times height. The last one, base times height divided by 2 is the formula for the area of a triangle. 14 minutes. Okay.